wraparound skirt, and that's what you had to wear if you're in
Oh.
the choir. Just, I don't know, for purity or whatever, light, because it's yellow. So I had to change into that every time. But I mean, I don't think I joined the choir till like March, I guess. So I was only in there like 2 months as the choir. But then I think, okay, I don't know about this. It was either Easter or Christmas, but they had a service. It was maybe Christmas, because I think it was in Tokyo. Some stuff I cannot remember very well still.
Well,
But
it's like 7 years ago.
yeah. Yeah, and it's not like I wrote all of it down, right? Like I was keeping a journal on some things, but I didn't write everything down. Um, but yeah, since I was in Tokyo, it was probably during the winter trip. But like there was this giant celebration in like an auditorium thing for like Christmas, and it was like fucking massive, like the super churches here.
Oh my
Like it was
god.
crazy. It was like all night for Christmas, and I was so tired. And the J lady was there, which that's a picture of her.
You met Jay while you were in the
Um,
presence of Jay.
yeah, I was in the presence of Jay here, and I guess she's a big deal, like a celebrity, because she's the second in command, and she's supposed to be embodiment of the Holy Spirit. So they say like if you touch her, you're like infused with energy and whatever. And like that kind of was a turnoff to me that like they kind of worship her too. And but at some point she did visit our church branch in Nagoya too. And I did like she wanted to talk to me specifically and we shook hands and like everyone was
You
saying like
touched Jay!
yeah, and I was not zapped with electricity like they said or whatever with energy. But
Maybe the opposite.
yeah, and like, cause she speaks Korean too, so someone had to translate for me again, and like I was never alone with her, which is good, because like I don't, did I already say this? Like they say like, oh no, I didn't say that. I'm about to say it, but they say she's like one of the main people that like she invites women to a private meeting with her to like screen you, and if you pass, she calls you a star, and then she sends you to the leader to be sexually assaulted, and that was
She
like
wanted to talk to you. Oh my
yeah. I
god.
mean, the like sending you to the leader to be sexually assaulted was like before he was in jail, but she was part of it then too. And like she did have people like send people to the jail to talk to him, like not that you could be sexually assaulted there, but like he could see you and whatever and do his weird like
And
fucking
if
shit.
I have a feeling if he like if they said, Sarah, you're a star and you are a big important part of this church, you might have stayed or like might have,
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done. I mean, again, like thankfully I don't know Korean because I could not meet her one on one. Like I met her in front of like everyone else. Like everyone was there and someone
yeah.
had to translate for me of what she was saying. So like there was never a time I could have been just with her.
Right.
But I don't know. If they said I was a star, I'm not sure what I don't know. I think meeting
They
her,
said you are so special. She probably knew right away this girl is not
yeah, I
gonna go
think
for this.
because I feel like when they visited that, or when she visited later, like that was more in the spring semester. So I feel like I was already kind of like, this is too much, like too much time commitment and stuff. So maybe she felt that out from me.
You're
But
like,
like,
yeah, your religion is a little demanding.
yeah, I mean, you know, I pretended to be happy to see, like, I was being fake with, oh, nice to meet you, and this is so great, and blah, 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 like with the fake smile. It's like,
Uh
I
huh.
am kind of becoming them in that regard. But, and I definitely think they were turning me into a story, obviously. Like, at that point, I don't know how many Americans they have now, but they did not have that many Americans then. And there is a branch in Chicago, as far as I know. Like, there was at that
Oh my
time.
god. And you were moving to Chicago.
Yeah, and I told them that like in February because it was like a done deal that I'm moving and I'm looking at places to stay and stuff. And they were trying to tell me to that I should stay downtown and still talk to these people. And like one of the people that's at this branch, I video chatted with to like get to know them, and I met. someone else like in person who was gonna be there. Like they definitely were like, if you can't like live downtown and go to this, and like maybe you should live with them. And like I kept saying no because I'm not gonna fucking do that shit. Because also I'm an hour away at least. Like I'm not gonna commute to work for an hour each way. But they were definitely thinking like, oh, if I don't do that, they're gonna lose me. So they were really trying.
They were right.
Well, yeah, they were right, but I wanted to be lost. But yeah, I can't like it was crazy that they're like, "Oh, we have a branch in Chicago." When they kind of said that, because I wasn't sure where they were in the US, and I was already kind of like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to continue this." But then they started pushing that and was like, "We have a branch in Chicago. There's like literally 10 members there. Like it's very small. We want to grow it."
They force you to. They force a branch in Chicago just to keep you, like they did with a volleyball game. They're like, 10 of you
No.
need to move.
No, there was already I
Uh,
don't think that's what happened. I think there was already like an actual branch there.
it's a big city.
But I was like, I'm not doing this. But I was kind of like, because I was still hanging out with them and kind of using them to like go see stuff in Japan. So I was kind of like being like, yeah, do that, whatever. Like,
Right. Uh huh. Whatever you say, you're never gonna hear from me again.
yeah. Okay, yeah. So like I said though, like meeting her, everyone says you get so much energy, and I'm just exhausted because also I'm a introvert. So like I was starting to feel like, oh, this like whatever they're feeling, I'm not feeling. And then like instead of thinking like that's the problem with me, I was just thinking like this isn't really for me. So I think a lot of people, like almost everyone's exhausted. No one actually is feeling all this, or they're like
Right.
psychologically convincing themselves. So like
You
everyone's
are so good
thinking,
with boundaries.
yeah, I guess.
Like,
Yeah, because I was starting to be like, this is too much. I'm exhausted. Like, definitely around Easter, I was like, man, I need to like figure out how to tell them I'm not going to hang out with them anymore. But then I was also thinking, like, I have an end date. I'm leaving. I don't need to tell them. Like, I could just stop talking to them when I go back. Because I'm
right.
also not good at confrontation.
Right.
So I was kind of still going along with it, but I was like over it already, like around March. Um, but then, or I guess mid-April is Easter. So I feel like by then I was definitely like, this isn't gonna work for my life. But there's Golden Week at the end of April, which I was off of school. So they said, like, they offered me to go to Korea. And I was like, well, that's like kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I said yes. And um like there was an Australian that was in the church that was in Japan at the time too that I had hung out with a lot, and she also spoke Korean, and she could be a translator for like everyone and a guide. So like I thought this was like perfect because I don't know any Korean. And also like flights are super cheap from Japan since it's like right there. Like the flight was like $150. So it's like, well, why not go? And like I think they mentioned going to the headquarters of Wol Myeong-dong, but like they didn't really explain what that entailed. But I was kind of like, I'm along for the ride. Let's go. Like, because I already don't
Right.
know anything about Korea, and she's gonna translate and kind of be the guide. So I was like, whatever itinerary you want to make, I'm just gonna go because it's
Right.
like
You
a new
tell
country.
me.
Yeah, so we ended up staying in Seoul for like just 2 days. Like one day when we got there and like a night, and then like the day before we had to leave, like because it's by the airport. But the rest of the time we were in Wol Myeong-dong. Um, but like while we were in Seoul, we did see like some cool stuff. Like we saw this university that I don't remember what the name is, but we also went to like a shopping district. We stayed a night in like a bathhouse, which was like a really interesting experience. But like a lot of Seoul too was like seeing where he started the cult and the history of him because he like started the cult like kind of in Seoul. And Wol Myeong-dong is where he grew up first. And that's like the holy
Oh,
site now or whatever. Like they're trying to make it a
yeah.
pilgrimage thing.
Yeah, okay.
But so like yeah, was not aware that a lot of it would just be like a pilgrimage for him or whatever. And some of it like was interesting, but a lot of it I was kind of like, okay, but like I'm in Korea at this time and I don't know any Korean and I'm here for like the whole week, so I kind of just have to go along with it. And so yeah, we went to Wol Myeong-dong, which is the headquarters, and it was like to me it felt like a long bus ride. I looked it up, or I think I put it in the maps. It is like 4 hours. It's like 4.5 hours by train. So by bus, I don't know, might be longer or the same. Um, but it's like in the mountains in a secluded area too, because it's like a small little village where he was supposed to grow up or whatever.
Oh my
And
god.
yeah, and like my parents knew I went to Korea, but I just said Seoul.
You
So
didn't tell them you were.
they didn't know I went to Wol Myeong-dong because then they're gonna look up Wol Myeong-dong and then you can look it up on Wikipedia and it's gonna say this is the headquarters for Providence and like whatever.
Oh, you even knew.
Well, I just knew that if I tell them I'm going to Wol Myeong-dong, I have to tell them they think that this guy is the second coming of Jesus and I'm still hanging out with them.
Yeah, you knew. You were like, I really shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, but I'm there at this point. Like, what can I do now? I'm in Korea and I'm on this bus to go there. And also, the bus, like, literally, there's a special bus that goes to Providence, like, goes there. And the driver, like, they screen the drivers, and the driver, I'm sure, is a member. And it's like, it's controlled by them because you can't just go there. Like you can't just get on an actual bus and go there. Like when I looked at the maps, there is like trains and stuff, so I guess maybe you could, but then you have to take a bus from like the station. So I think the only way to get in and out is by this bus, and it's like controlled by them. So like when I was on the bus and going there and seeing how far away it is, because they didn't tell me how far away it was gonna be, and being like, wow, I have no idea where we are. I don't know any Korean. I don't know like how much longer we're gonna be on this bus. So I was starting to think like maybe I'm not gonna be able to leave this place.
Oh my god.
But we were there for like 4 or 5 days, and obviously I did come back. I mean, because I was also with like other people. Like there was like 20 of us that went, like Japanese
Okay,
people,
okay.
and like they have to go back to Japan too. Like so
Right.
that was like mostly okay. But also like while you're there, like there's one cafeteria and like they control when you're gonna have food. Like you can't just go in and buy any like everything is free. It's like a commune. But like I didn't know the next meal that I was gonna have the whole time I was there. Cause like they just kind of say, okay, now it's time for the meal, and you go in and stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, finally, like whatever. Like I had no
Oh my
idea.
god, they were so brainwashing you.
Yeah, and like, yeah, no one really told me the schedule of anything. Like they would just say, okay, now we're going on this hike, and okay, now we're gonna do whatever. Like there wasn't really free time. I mean, there was a little bit of time to like wander, but it was like very controlled. And then like again, like obviously there are like literally there's so many people there because it is supposed to be like the pilgrimage thing, and there were people of like from literally everywhere. There was like one lady from Nigeria, there were like people who spoke English, like all these languages. So like I could talk to someone in English if I needed to, I guess. Like I could probably find someone, but like a lot of people still speak Korean, so it's like I can't really talk to a lot of people.
Right.
So like I'm kind of isolated. And oh yeah, I already said that they were knew I was in Korea. Yeah, there's like picture. I don't know if you've seen the picture, but or like of the actual because it's kind of in
Yeah.
mountains.
It's beautiful.
I know it is literally so gorgeous, and it's like why?